Yes, hello everyone, Fáilte Ashkady, Cúilín Media. Welcome back to another weekend review show here on Cúilín Media. It's myself, Seamus Brady, joined by Liam White and Matthew Hurley to run through a chaotic weekend across the club championships with major headlines across all four codes in Gaelic football, Camogie, LGFA and Hurling. Lads, good to have you on the show. Good to have people in the comments as well. Back Peter Griffin, Pádraig Lennon, A2 leading the charge. Peter says, hey lads, before we look at all the action, apparently major blows in Naas with Philly McMahon gone. Some controversy over this. Apparently, was he pushed or did he walk? Conflicting reports. Any update? To be honest, I haven't heard too much about it. But we are going to jump straight in, lads. Peter also says here, commiserations, Liam. Thought at halftime you looked good to see your home. The Kilkerrin Clonberne lads through the kitchen sink at Ballyhale. Mullen and Cody scores just a grain of rice. Very well taken penalty from Adam Screeney. I mean, that is the obvious place to start. It was one of the two live games on TG Cathart today. Fresh off the back of it, how are we feeling? You were very close. The game, there's no doubt, was there to be won. Just those tiny little inches went in Ballyhale's favour.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think it goes without saying our lads put in a great first half performance. Even watching it back just now, we did a lot of things right. Probably left a few chances behind us, but overall, I can't fault those lads for the effort. You know, the effort that they put in against one of the best sides, not just in Leinster but in the country. You know, some of the players that they have. Like I thought our half back line was absolutely terrific. I thought Ende Grogan, Keelan Kiley, Brecon Kavanagh, like the fact that they were going up against Adrian Mullen, Owen Cody, and TJ Reid from the half forward line, I thought they did absolutely exceptional. I thought Jordan Quinn. I think if we'd have won the game, I think Jordan Quinn would have been man of the match. I thought he was absolutely terrific at fullback. I thought the way he marked TJ Reid was just exceptional, to be honest with you. Charlie Mitchell in the first half, I said it during the week that if he gets a run of form, then he will destroy this Ballyhale defence. And look, he had 3 points by half time. Still did some good things in the second half. Was probably unlucky not to get a few more scores, but I thought he was unbelievable. Adam Screeney, look, one or two times his shoot maybe let him down a small bit, but he took the penalty well, got 2 good points from play. And his work rate was absolutely savage on the half forward line. Connor Slevin and goals, landing frees. You know, like there was just so many. Daniel Diggy Hand, Jack Screeney, the midfield. I just thought there was so many positives from our team today. You know, the way we hurled in the first half. Look, second half, Ballyhale took over. Owen Cody, Adrian Mullen, they were poor in the first half. They took over in the second half. You had Mullen at wing back as well, who was pushed up to wing forward in the second half, had a really good game as well. You know, and look, it's just unfortunate that we've gone out this way, because I think we showed today that we can compete with these teams and that we can put it up to these teams. Yeah, look, it's just a shame. You know, I thought we had it. But yeah, look, it's just unfortunate the way it turned out in the end. But look, congratulations to Ballyhale. You know, they're a terrific side, and yeah, they'll be very hard bet now, not just for Leinster but for the All Ireland now in the next number of months.
They will be hard bet. There's no question about it. A2 weighing in on the game says ref on the take for Ballyhale. Inexcusable what happened at full time, but understandable anger and frustration from Kilcormac players. That particular individual apparently has a reputation. Jail time, in my opinion. He says that situation, there's no question about it. That situation, the individual involved did let himself down in that instance. The GA need to be very, very careful with situations like that. You cannot allow people on the field in that regard. And the thing is that we've seen it in the Ulster final as well, not with any fans necessarily throwing punches, but in terms of fans being all of a sudden right in and amongst a scrap happening between players. It can get really, really dangerous. And the GA need to make an example out of this situation and make sure that everyone knows that this type of behaviour is not acceptable and cannot be allowed under any circumstances. The reality is, on this game, lads, just looking at it, because I watched it in full, and in the first half, I thought Kilcormac were looking good. I thought they were answering everything that Ballyhale threw at them. They got the penalty, well taken by Screeney. Half time, I was confident that Kilcormac had what it took to go on and win. But Matthew, I think when you're looking at the game, it's that third quarter for me where Kilcormac went 10, 11 minutes into the second half without scoring, and Ballyhale, their shot percentage in the second half, they went from hitting 7 wides in the first half to hitting only 3 wides in the second half. They were much, much, much better. And TJ pretty much converted every free that he was given. I think he was given more frees than Ballyhale deserved, but he still converted them. And then you see things even like how screening was fantastic, but instances in that 10-minute spell where he hit the free and Dean Mason kept it out. And just instances like that was telling me that it was starting to tick towards Ballyhale.
It was just the whole second half performance, to be honest with you. Like, you look at Ballyhale's shot conversion rate in the whole second half, it was 18 shots, converted 15, 83%, and it was under 50% in the entire first half. They were just exceptional. I thought Ballyhale in the second half, like Owen Cody was hitting nearly everything over the bar. I said the group chat maybe at half-time that Adrian Mullen wasn't playing to his usual standards, 3 shots, 3 misses, but then straight away in the second half, 3 shots, 3 scores. Like, he turned it on just like that. TJ Reid converted nearly every free that he got. I thought Niall Shorthall was a menace all day, corner forward as well. And their defence, I thought the likes of Richie Reid cleaned up very, very, very well in that defensive line. And the key moments, Ballyhale won it. And even the puck outs as well. Like, I thought Kilcormac did well up until half-time at certain aspects, but I thought their puck-outs needed to be cleaned up in the second half, because Ballyhale were absolutely dominating that sector. I think at half-time, I think it was 17 puck-outs for Ballyhale. They've won 15 of their own, and not just hitting them short. Like, they hit them blunt to TJ or hit them blunt to Owen Cody, and they were winning it every time. But Kilcormac didn't sort that problem in the second half, whereas Ballyhale sorted their problem in shooting in the second half. So I think that was the major difference in getting over the line. Look, Kilcormac, you can't doubt their quality, or you can't doubt their effort and their will to go on and win the game. But the thing is, Ballyhale just looked a serious team, and they looked like a team on a mission in many ways. They looked like a very good outfit. And even when Kilcormac got a few scores, even from the goalkeeper Conor Slevin, they tried to get trying back into the game, but then Ballyhale just got a score right down the other end. I just thought Ballyhale managed the game very, very well, and they got over the line in fairness because of that. I just think their shooting accuracy in the second half was a main decider in how they won the game. And when you see they're facing Clough Ballacolla in the semi-final, you would fancy them to win that game. And when you look at, I know Fianna will talk about them in a little bit, but with the Fianna losing, the Leinster Championship is now well open for Ballyhale to go on and win it for another year for them. So yeah, it was a brilliant performance by Ballyhale. They sorted out their problems in the second half, whereas while it's harsh on Kilcormac that I'm saying this, but they just didn't sort their problems in the second half, whereas Ballyhale did, and that was the difference in winning and losing.
Yeah, I think as well, just talking about the end of the game one more time, just to go back to it, the referee, I thought some of his decisions were slightly confusing, especially in the second half, the amount of frees that went Ballyhale's way. But it was so obvious watching the game that it was going to kick off. 5.5 minutes into an additional time of 4 minutes, and he's doing a throw ball. And I was like, this is going to kick off. Everyone can see this is going to kick off. The scuffles are breaking out already. Blow the game up. Even if Kilcormac score now, let's say they rattle the back of the net, game's done. You're going to blow it up when Dean Mason pucks the ball out. So wrap it up, because the scuffles are starting to break out. You allow one more play to go, especially with a throw ball, where that's very enticing for a scrap to happen. And then we see the fan run onto. Now, obviously, the fan running onto the field is not the referee's fault, but in my opinion, the game should have been blown up before that throw ball went in. Game was done. And I think the ref should have made the judgment call in that moment that, like, this is going bad. Let's just wrap it up here. The other thing as well, Liam, obviously you're a Kilcormac man. It goes without saying, one fan doesn't represent the club. And apart from yourself and your family, like, there's a lot of good people in Kilcormac, Callaghy, and Offaly champions, worthy Offaly champions, and no doubt you will be back. Peter here saying Kilcormac, Callaghy's work rate was very high. They fought a good fight. Ref was poor. And A2 saying no disgrace whatsoever for Kilcormac. Ballyhale are getting to at least the All-Ireland final, in my opinion. A2 coming in there saying Ballyhale looking good. There is no question about it, Matthew. You mentioned it there. With Nafina gone, like, all of a sudden now it's opened up for Ballyhale. And having seen how they have overcome Kilcormac, overcome Erne Gaels, overcome Thomastown, and now with Nafina being gone, I don't see anybody stopping them for Leinster. Do you?
I probably maybe St. Martin's. Like, you can't discount St. Martin's either. Like, the performance they gave against Fianna today was absolutely superb, and they have some brilliant players like the Jack O'Connors of the world and Rory O'Connor, and Wexford Hurling shouldn't be slept on. Like, the way they've structured the club championship this year and last year, I think has benefited their clubs. Like in the previous few years, why were Wexford clubs struggling is because their champions were announced in August and they had 2 months without a game. But now you have the Wexford champions. They have momentum. They're going into the Leinster Championship flat to the mat. And even last year against Fianna, many people forgot this, but they really tested Fianna. And I thought the way that
that was in Parnell Park as well.
It was, yeah. And Martin's arguably probably should have won that game. So I know we're probably going to that. But you look at Ballyhale, yeah, they do have some superb, talented players. I think they'll get to the final. And I think Martin's will probably get to the final as well by beating Naas at the other side of the draw. I think Martin's and Ballyhale is going to be an interesting game at Clough Park, though. There's no Dublin side now. Ballyhale haven't played in Clough Park for a number of years. Martin's obviously haven't really in their entire history. So it is going to be very interesting to see that kind of dynamic. And in Leinster final, obviously, with the greatest respect to the likes of Naas and Clough Ballacolla. But I think Martin's would have a say in the championship just yet. You look at the semi-final as well. They'll be facing a Munster team in the All-Ireland semi-final. Whether that be whoever it is, Ballygunner, SARS, Lockmore, Castleknock, Éire, Guinness, that's still going to be a difficult test for Ballyhale Shamrocks too. So look, I don't think it's set in stone that they'll go all the way to the All-Ireland final. It's not set in stone that they'll win Leinster. The performance they gave today with their puck outs and with their shooting accuracy would suggest, and the players that they do have, would suggest they're on a mission at this present moment in time. But I still think Martins will have a story to tell just yet. They're still a very good side. They're being slept on. They were slept on probably by us during the week, Martins, to be honest with you. They are a very good side and they will take a lot of beating from Ballyhale. But I don't think the Leinster Championship is wrapped up just yet. Not just after today. There's still a lot of work to do.
There definitely is. And that brings us on nicely to that game. Let's tie in that game with the discussion. So obviously, the reigning All-Ireland champions, Fianna, have fallen by the wayside. Another defending All-Ireland champion in the club championship is no more now in the club championship. St. Martin's knock out the reigning All-Ireland champions, Fianna. Huge result from the weekend. Obviously, last year they played in Parnell Park. Martin's did run them close, but Fianna got through that day. This time, the result has been reversed. St. Martin's get revenge. Fianna are out. Liam, this is definitely shaking up the club championship.
Yeah, and it's a real shame we're gone out because I definitely would have fancied us to maybe go on and win it potentially after this. But yeah, look, it's an unbelievable win from Martins. Do you know what it was? During the week, I was getting a weird feeling that Martins could potentially win it, but I was nearly too afraid to say it on camera because I was thinking, do you know what? Fianna, the way they got over the line against Martins, the way they destroyed Kilmacud Crokes, and just are really playing good hurling at the moment. I had a feeling that maybe instead it would be Fianna. I was nearly too conflicted, to be honest with you, thinking who would win this game. And then, yes, look, I'm not shocked that Martins have won. That's the truth. Like, I thought last year's game was extremely 50-50. And it could have gone either way last year watching it. And look, Martins are a very, very good side. Look, they won the Wexford Championship on a day that was very tough to play in. And they dogged it out. It's their second year in a row winning it. And like you mentioned, they have some really, really good players in their team. They have some brilliant forwards. I mean, you look at their top scorers today. Rory O'Connor with 9 points, 3 from play. Barry O'Connor finished with 1-2. Jack O'Connor got 4 points. You know, there were just some savage performances from the lot of them today, and obviously from some of their defenders as well. But yeah, look, it's a brilliant win for St. Martin's to get themselves over the line like this against a really good Fianna team to have players like Sean Curry, AJ Murphy, Colin Curry, Donald Burke, all these types of players. It's a savage way to get to a Leinster semi-final. And I do agree, look, Naas are a good side. I'd never write them off, especially with the way they've been going the last couple of years. But I did see how Martins beat them last year. They kind of bet them very comprehensively in St. Gallen's Park. And this time they're going to have, I believe they have them at home this year. So I kind of agree. I feel like it will be a Martins Ballyhale final. And it's no disrespect even to Clough Ballacolla, because I think Clough Ballacolla are going to give Ballyhale a lot of, held in the semi-final. But I just think Martins, I think they're a very, very good side. I think they hurl really, really well. And to take down the All-Ireland champions like this is what we love about the club championship, to be honest with you, that you have all of last year's All-Ireland finalists now, aside from Sarsfields, all gone. It's absolutely insane to think. It's unbelievable. And look, fair play to St. Martin's, you know, that to come back from the defeat last year, to get over the line, and to take down the All-Ireland champions on what was probably, I don't know what the weather was like down in Wexford. I can imagine it wasn't maybe the best of weather. It's an unbelievable victory for them. And yeah, like Matthew said there, it'll be a very interesting Leinster final if it does go the way that maybe we expect between themselves and Ballyhale Shamrocks. But yeah, Wexford hurling at the moment is in a much better, the club hurling scene's in a much better place than it was 2 years ago. And yeah, fair play to St. Martin's.
Definitely have taken it forward. There is no question about it. We have comments flooding in here, guys. Love to see it. King Guckian saying Ballyhale are favourites for sure. A2 St. Martin's are solid, but they're not beating Ballyhale. It's not set in stone, but it's open road for Ballyhale. Warning signs were there for Fianna after scamming their way past Lucan, is what A2 is saying. Pádraig Lennon talking about the Connacht quarter final. Desi Keneally with 110, obviously from Moycullen. They'll beat Leitrim Gaels handy next week. He says Peter Cook has still to come back for them. They'll take some stopping Moycullen. I think a potential Connacht final. I think after seeing Ballina against North London Shamrocks, just seeing the match reports, everything like that, obviously because I haven't seen the game actually live, I would favour Bridget's to win that one. I think it probably will be a Connacht final of Bridget's versus Moycullen, which would be a cracker. Peter says Fianna were poor in the Dubs final. Martins will take Naas in Wexford Park. And Peter has a question for the rest of us. Lads, from what you have seen in the Club Hurling Championship so far, what's your power rankings? Now, obviously, Matthew, I'm not going to ask you this. Obviously, Matthew being involved with SARS. Liam, myself and yourself, power rankings of, what would we say, 5? So right now, we'll do our top 5 power rankings for the rest. So this is always good fun, and it will divide opinion. So at this moment, so on the 9th of November, Liam, what is your top 5 right now left in the Club Hurling Championship? Power rankings time. Let's go.
I would say Ballyhale first. I'm going to get hate for saying this. I would say probably Sarsfield second, Ballygunner third, Loughrea fourth. Fifth, I would probably say Schlockneil from Derry.
Yeah, it's very hard to look past St. Martin's after they took out Fianna. It's really hard to look past them.
It is. I just think after watching even Schlockneil a lot more closely last year against Sarsfields, I thought they were really impressive. And the way they took down Rory O'Cushendall as well, I was really impressed with them. Look, people must think I just have a vendetta against Ballygunner. I don't. I just don't think they're as good as people rate them to be. I still think they were fortunate to beat in the Piercig. I thought the way Sarsfields took them down last year was really impressive. I think Sarsfields could beat them next weekend. You know, and I'm not just saying that because Matthew's here, but the evidence was there last year. And yeah, I don't know what it is. They're just a team that I feel have underachieved so much over the years for all the success that they've had. But yeah, look, Loughrea could easily be second as well, considering there probably would be maybe favourites to reach the All-Ireland final, just by judging by the draw that they have. But I think Ballyhale Shamrocks, the experience that they have, the players that they have, I'd be ranking them first still, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I don't like this. You kind of piss people off.
Be glad we didn't just said us first.
Yeah, no. A2 has come in with his 1 to 4. He says Gunner, Ballyhale, SARS, and Loughrea 1 to 4. And then for just think Gunner and Hale are the better teams right now. Pádraig Lennon saying Loughrea should be top 2. They should have beaten Fianna last year. Stephen says, I thought the St. Martin's Fianna game in Parnell last year was very close. It was a brilliant game, but Martins have nothing to fear now going in now, including Ballyhale. We don't fear Kilkenny down here, especially at county level. Wexford don't fear Kilkenny. Peter saying number 1 SARS, number 2 Loughrea, 3 Ballyhale, 4 St. Martin's, and 5 Ballygunner. For me, right now, I said that Ballygunner would win the All-Ireland from the beginning. So I am going to stick and put Ballygunner at number 1. After today's game, I was very impressed with Ballyhale Shamrocks, the way they battled past Kilkerrin Clonberne, so I'll probably put them in at number 2. Loughrea have impressed me a lot, so I'll probably put Loughrea in at number 3. SARS, you can't you can't deny how impressive they were winning Munster last year, making it to the All-Ireland final, and they've looked good so far, winning the Cork Championship. So I put Sar's in at 4. And due to their dominance in Ulster and how good that they have been over the last 2 years, I'll put Slaughtneil in at 5 as well. I don't know, is that identical to yours, Liam?
It's kind of similar with 1 or 2 changes, but yeah, that's.
And then, like, right in there at number 6 is St. Martin's. Like, right in there. I find it, to be honest, I'm very tempted to put St. Martin's in for either number 4 or number 5 after beating the Fianna today. They're extremely, extremely impressive. I'll make mine a power 6. Fuck it. St. Martin's in at 6. But yeah, it's very, very, very hard to separate. A2 says it perfectly here. There's very, very little between the top 6, 7 teams. Anyone can beat anyone, really. Aidan Sand says 1 Ballyhale, 2 Ballygunner, 3 Stars, 4 Loughrea, 5 St. Martin's. It's hard to argue with that 5, to be honest. Yeah, but very, very good question, Peter. Thank you for that. And that's our power rankings done. We're going to move into the rest of the Leinster quarterfinals and give them a shout. So, Matthew, in the 2 other quarterfinals, we had big wins for Naas, obviously over Mount Leinster Rangers at Cullen Park. Naas won 2-17 to Mount Leinster Rangers' 1-17, while Clough Ballacolla beat Castletown Gagan by 2-16 to 20 points in O'Moore Park. So, as it stands, Clough Ballacolla go into the semi-final against Ballyhale Shamrocks, while Naas will go up against St. Martin's.
Yeah, I suppose the Mount Leinster Rangers and Naas game, first of all, it was level at half-time, 11 points to 1-8, with Naas getting the crucial goal in the first half through Charlie Sheridan. And the main turning point of this game was midway through the second half when Chris Nolan, main player obviously for Cardo and Mount Leinster Rangers, he got a second yellow card in 46 minutes. So that really swung the game in favour of Naas. Jack Sheridan again got a goal to make it 2-11 to 12 points. And that was before the red card happened. So I suppose that was a double whammy for Mount Leinster Rangers in more ways than one. It was 2-15 then to 2-15 to 17 points moving into the last 3 minutes, and then Kevin MacDonald got a goal. In fairness to Mount Leinster Rangers, they got a goal, they battled back, they were point down, but then Jack Sheridan and Simon Lacey got points to end the game on a high note for Naas, and they will now face St. Martin's in the Leinster semi-final, and that'll be good for them. To be fair for Mount Leinster Rangers, Chris Nolan did get sent off, but he got 7 points, so like that's almost like, I thought about a double whammy there in terms of the goal and the red card. It's almost like a triple whammy because you're losing a player, you lost the goal, and as well as that, you lost your best forward. So, like, Mount Leinster Rangers, in fairness, didn't have luck there. But to be fair, Kevin MacDonald from centre back today got 1-4 from play. So, fair play to him for that. In fairness to him, for Naas, Jack Sheridan got 1 goal and 8 points. Simon Lacey got 4 points. And obviously, Charlie Sheridan from wing back got a goal as well. So, fair play to Naas for getting over the line. On the other side, obviously, Clough Ballacolla, they got over Castletown Gagan, and it was an interesting game. It was a very tight game throughout, in fairness to both sides in this game. Like at 60 minutes, it was 2-15 to 18 points to Clough Ballacolla. But Castletown, they gave it a right good go towards the end of it when Mark Heaney getting a point, Niall O'Brien getting a point as well from a free. And you were thinking, okay, Castletown could get back into the game. But then Stephen Bergen sealed the deal with a last-minute free to win the game 2-16 to 20 points, obviously. Willie Dunphy got a goal in the second half, a key goal midway through it for Clough Ballacolla. As well, another red card. Peter Clark got a red card for Castletown Gagan as well, just after 40 minutes. So that was a key decider in the game too. And Willie Dunphy actually got another goal in the second half. So he really was on fire in this game for Clough Ballacolla. He got 2 goals. Stephen Bergman got 9 points as well. Lee Clear had a good performance from centre-back, got 2 points. To be fair to Castletown, Niall O'Brien, brilliant player for Westmeath. Down through the years, he got 11 points from full forward. Peter Clark, before the red card, got a point as well. So look, some good performers on both sides. I would say that probably Ballyhale and St. Martin's would be expected to get to the final, but look at the two sides there. Clough Ballacolla, the likes of Stephen Bergen and all of them have some good inter-county leash players. And obviously from Naas's point of view, Jack Sheridan, if you keep your eyes off him, you could be in danger. So look, good wins for both Naas and Clough Ballacolla today, but majorly decided by red cards for their oppositions.
Yeah, and the thing is as well is even though they had fantastic wins, they are going in as underdogs. But the one thing that we've seen so far in this club championship, as we do in basically every club championship season, is expect the unexpected. And just when a team starts to look good, that could be when they are taken out of the championship. So no question about it. Time will tell how those results will go. We're going to switch over from hurling to football now, and we're going to go up north to the Ulster Senior Football Championship Quarter Finals. And we're going to start off with the game that took place on Saturday night live on RTE. Kilcoo bringing an end to the dream of Loughmacrory. Their maiden voyage in the Ulster Senior Club Football Championship came to an end. Kilcoo 16 points, Loughmacrory 11 points. Matthew, was this just a case of experience for Kilcoo winning the day?
Definitely so. I think Loughmacrory have a lot of young, talented players, the likes of McElhone and the likes of Rory McCullough especially, and obviously they do have it all over the pitch, the likes of Anton Fox as well. But the thing was, it was experience. Like you look at one of the matchups on the day, it was actually Niall Brannigan, who's 38 years of age, on Owen McElhone, who's 19. So that's like a double age gap there. But to be fair to Niall Brannigan, he stuck to his task. He was absolutely brilliant at cornerback for Kilcoo, as was the whole team. To be fair to him, Eugene Brannigan had a good display as well. I thought obviously Sheelan Johnston, the points he was getting last night, 4 points from play, really good display from him. Paul Devlin wasn't in the game as probably he would have expected in many ways, and he missed a clear goal chance towards the very end of the game to put the game to bed once and for all. But he took a brilliant 2-pointer in the second half, and he showed a lot of experience in this game as well. Kilcoo, look, they're down champions again. You can't really discount this Kilcoo team, and we've made errors on this pod, and we've made errors throughout the whole year as well of doubting this Kilcoo team, and a lot of people have done so online, saying that, okay, it wasn't a brilliant performance from Kilcoo, they might be beatable. This is how champions win. They win ugly. That's what Kilcoo pride themselves on. They are an absolutely brilliant side, not the greatest to watch, but they are a very good side. They scored 2 pointers, two 2-pointers, and they got 14 points from play. So if you're saying that they perform badly and play terrible football, you probably need to look at the stats again. You look at Loughmacrory, gets 7 points for play. Kilcoo got 14 points for play. That's double again. Like, Kilcoo were, in a way, they were all over Loughmacrory. Like, Loughmacrory got a few frees from the likes of Backhelhome and obviously the likes of Park Mina, corner forward, but it didn't look like they were ever going to win the game. Look, they've had a brilliant year. They won their first Tyrone championship in history, and that shouldn't be discarded. It's been a brilliant year for them, but they were way off the pace last night. I just feel like, and that's not a criticism in many ways. It's just a fact that Kilcoo were just so good. And they are on a one-way ticket to win this Ulster Championship. They would have been disappointed by the Éire game last year, but they are a very, very good side. No doubts about that. And even look at their scores. They got 8 different scores last night, including the likes of Devlin, the likes of Sheelan Johnston. But even Darrell Brannigan from centre-back popped up with 2 points, captain leading from the front. Anthony Morgan got on the score sheet, Niall Rooney, Ryan Johnston, Caleb Doherty, and even Sean McCusker off the bench, who's a younger kind of talented player. But he came on and still set the high standards. So, look, this Kilcoo team is on a one-way ticket, I think, to the Ulster Championship. They are a very, very good side. A lot of people might argue, Scotstown, Newbridge, Moycullen for the All-Ireland, if you're going that far. This Kilcoo team cannot be taken lightly. And I know we'd all love a different prediction, and we'd all love it to be a fun prediction, but this Kilcoo team ain't going nowhere.
Do you know, they do. They remind me how people talk about them. They kind of remind me of like a UFC, because obviously I'm big into UFC. I mean, if you watch the spot for 2 seconds, I'm big into UFC. But they kind of remind me of like a UFC champion that constantly wins by decision, that just like wrestles their opponent down to the ground and just wins by decision. And it's kind of boring, but like they just know how to win. The thing is that you cannot deny with Kilcoo, they know how to win. They know how to close the game out. They know how to nullify your strengths, and they should not be written off at all for the Ulster Championship and beyond, because I'll put them as my favourites to win Ulster now. I know I said Éire Kilkerrin from the get-go. That aged well. But you think you can't look past what Kilcoo have done. And we have Stephen Conlon here who says, I was at the Kilcoo versus Loughmacrory game. Kilcoo nullified McElhone and McHugh really well. Aaron Brannigan was unreal. They looked really good. Some block by Ryan Johnston at the end of the first half. Some block by Darrell Brannigan, at the end of the first half. A2 says Kilcoo looked a very well-oiled and drilled machine. Very boring, though. And Peter, he asked us to do the same thing for the hurling. And Matthew, you can answer this, so I'm going to throw this one to you first. He says, lads, your football power rankings as it stands now. So this one always gets good debate. Football power rankings 1 to 5 as we stand now on the 9th of November 2025. Matthew, I'll go to you first.
Right. Number 1, Kilcoo. Number 2, St. Bridget's. Number 3, Moycullen. Number 4, St. Finbarr's. And number 5, Ballyhale St. Enda's.
There's so many teams. There's so many teams.
No matter who we say, we're going.
Limo, do you want to take the wheel?
I'm going to agree for the time being and say Kilcoo. I'm going to say Moycullen second, St. Bridget third. I'm going to say Scotstown fourth, and I'm going to throw one out there: the Downs fifth.
The Downs.
I think the Downs are a very, very good team, and I think the Downs.
We'll find out very soon against Bowden.
Yeah, they could be better with more next weekend, and this could age horribly. But look, I may as well throw one out there. Yeah, I think the Downs are a very good team. When you've Luke Loughlin in your side, I think you've got every chance possible. But I would agree. I think Kilcoo, watching them last night, I'll be honest, I will say I thought a lot of the scores last night were really good. Like, I thought a lot of the scores that were taken from both sides were excellent, to be honest with you. And look, I'm a big fan of Mahon, but obviously he didn't have the impact that you would hope. But look, he is 19 at the end of the day. I still think he's going to be a terrific player over the years. But yeah, look, Kilcoo just did what they had to do. I kind of agree. I didn't feel like they were going to lose the game. Watching the second half, I felt like they kind of had it somewhat under control anyways. But yeah, I probably would rank them at the moment. You could maybe, from my perspective, maybe switch Scotstown and Moycullen, maybe, potentially. Like, especially seeing the Scotstown result today and seeing even the scoreline was probably fairly kind to Nave Quinlan in a way in the end, because Scotstown were fairly much on top throughout the majority of the game. But yeah, look, I'd go with Kilcoo for the moment.
It's really, really difficult, Peter, here. We'd love to get all of your predictions, lads, on terms of the power rankings, everything like that. Pádraig is saying Moycullen at 1, Kilcoo at 2, Ballyhale at 3, Bridget's at 4, Finbarr's at 5, and Dingle at 6. He's taking my approach to the world. Add in an extra team if you can't. Peter says Kilcoo 1, Moycullen 2, Bars 3, Bowden 5, a tie. Bowden 4 and a tie 5. Aidan says, I've noticed from Kilcoo that they're not a 2-pointer team. They always go for 1-pointers. Paul Devlin, only man on the team who does 2-pointers. Again, that's kind of similar to your UFC champion, a wrestler going in against a striker, not trying to do the flashy stuff, just do the basics well and you'll win the game. And that's kind of something that Kilcoo have done in the Ulster Championship as well as the Down Championship. Interesting, though, for all the success that they've had, they've only won 1 All-Ireland, so I know that they will want to capitalise on it and get another to kind of separate themselves, because we have had a lot of teams now over the last few years, and don't worry, lads, I am going to come back and do my power rankings. I'm not trying to escape it. But you look at, like, Kilmacud Crokes, you would think that they've been around for years. They've only won 1 All-Ireland. Glen were around for a few years. They got 1 All-Ireland. That's when you look at, like, Currafin, then you're like, holy shit, like, what a team. Like, to capitalize on their moment the way that they did and to win as much as they have, when you see how good Kilcoo are and they've only won 1, how good Kilmacud are and they only won 1, Glen the same. It's very, very, very impressive what Currafin did looking back in hindsight. Pádraig saying could be an All-Ireland matchup between the Bars and Kilcoo, met in the 22 semi-final. That went extra time in Portlaoise. Matthew, I'm sure you remember it well. I'll go with my 5 now. So I'm going to go with Kilcoo number 1. I'm going to go with Ballyhale St. Enda's number 2. I'm going to go with I'm going to go with St. Bridget's number 3. Moycullen number 4. And I'll actually go with Dingle number 5. So apologies, Matthew, I'll have to run away, but I was very impressed with Dingle in the Kerry final. Very, very impressed. And I think you look at the talent that they have, the Mark O'Connors, the Tom O'Sullivans, the Paul Gainey's, I'll pit them in there. But I think, again, that could be one that ages terribly if we see obviously them fail to get out of Munster. Interestingly as well, A2 has been talking a lot because Newcastle West obviously fell by the wayside at the weekend. We'll move to that next. after the rest of these Ulster games. So that's coming up next, guys. But I just remembered we haven't actually covered all the Ulster games. So let's get back onto that track first. The next game that had a lot of eyes on it this weekend by virtue of being BO on TG Cahir was the clash of Sean O'Leary Newbridge against Madden Rapparees of Armagh. That one was in the athletic grounds. Lads, we all went for Sean O'Leary Newbridge to win this game. They are being underestimated. Liam, did we see another example of why they're not to be underestimated in this game? Comfortable enough win?
Yeah, 100%. No, they were very, very comfortable here. At halftime, it didn't look that way. It was fairly evenly matched. It was only 8 points to 7, and you felt it maybe could have gone either way, but they started pulling away in the second half, and they showed a lot of grit and determination to pull away from Madden. And look, in fairness to Madden, look, you know, it was coming into their first Ulster campaign. Maybe a lot wasn't expected of them, maybe to a degree, I don't know. But yeah, look, I would probably describe it as a professional performance from Sean O'Leary's, to be honest with you. You had Oisin Doherty, who got 5 points. Eamon Young got 2 points from wing forward. Sam Young got 2 points from full forward. So Conor McAteer got 4 points as well. So it was overall a really, really positive performance from them. Yeah, look, it's a great statement win to go away to Armagh, to put 18 points past them and only conceding 12 points as well, 6-point victory. It's almost like, you know, kind of job done, you know, more than anything else. And they'll take a lot of confidence from this going into the next round now. And they certainly shouldn't be written off, you know, and like as we say with the club championship, you could just never write any team off. You can't write any club off. I would probably still rank Scotstown and Kilcoo above them, but it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if this Sean O'Leary's team did manage to get to an Ulster final or potentially win it. And it's unfortunate for Conor Grimley, who got 8 points, and Niall Grimley as well, who are two fantastic footballers. And obviously you have Kieran Rafferty as well, very, very good player as well. Cottle Donnelly, you know, a lot of really good players in their team. But look, you know, they still had an unbelievable year winning the Armagh Championship, and the way they won it in the final as well. So they won't take any shame from losing this, I don't think.
Well, they had a great year. There's no question about it. They had an amazing year. But again, similar to Loch McCrory, it was their first maiden voyage in the Ulster Championship, whereas Sean O'Leary's Newbridge now, it's their second year in a row here. You know, they've doubled down on winning the Derry Championship, and now they want to go further. And Matthew, it did look that way. Like, even the final few minutes, it was kind of tame. Like, you knew that Newbridge had done enough to get over the line. And again, when you see Kilcoo beating Loch McCrory, all of the attention is going to be on them. Scotstown, the way that they beat Naomh Conaill, again, Scotstown, I've noticed they're a team that tend to get a lot of hype behind them quite quickly. Sean O'Leary Newbridge is just going about the business, and they're into the final four. I wouldn't be wanting to face them.
No, not at all. And like as Liam said at halftime, it was 8 points to 7. Like, it was very, very tight. But then there was a spell in the second half where they went up 14 points to 10, and they were well over the hills and far away by then. Like, you look at their second half tally compared to Madden's, it was 10 points to 5, and that was a big pile driver in getting them over the line in the second half. And when you have the likes of Conor Grimley scoring 8 points out of a possible 12, you just can't rely on one particular player to do all your scoring for you, and ultimately that came a crupper for Man. But to be fair, as you lads have said, they've had a fantastic year. They should be very proud of themselves. First Armagh Championship in their history, and I'm sure they will look back at the 2025 in fondness for them. But this Newbridge team, I've said it in the previous podcast, they're on a mission. It's the same as Kilcoo. They're on a mission. They would have been disappointed last year losing to Clonmel. They would have been desperate to get kind of attention and maybe prediction attention to themselves, because they've beaten Watty Glen in the final last year. They beat Schlottneel in the semi-final this year, and they beat Magherafelt in a final this year. They've beaten the big three in Derry over the last 2 years, and they've won 2 Derry championships in a row. Probably the least noticeable 2 in a row in Derry in history, because nobody is talking about it whatsoever in the media. They're going about it the right way. And when you look at like the players that are standing up, the different variety of players in many ways, Oisin Doherty got 5 points, Conor McAteer got 4 points, Eamon Young and Sean Young got 2 points each. Conor Doherty didn't score today, but he went about his business brilliantly. Patrick McGrogan, 2 points. The other McGrogans in the full back line got a point each as well. The full back and the cornerback. So, and Mark Doherty, I know he got brought off late on, but is still another key player for Newbridge. And on another day, he could excel. So look, Newbridge will not fear Scotstown in the semi-final. They will not fear them whatsoever. This is a Scotstown team. Yes, they beat Naomh Conaill today, and they were competitive. They were comprehensive in many ways in the first half in particular. But this is a Scotstown team that are capable of losing the run themselves in many ways. This is a team that conceded 5 goals against Kilcoo last year. So Newbridge will be thinking that at the back of their minds, thinking this might be a scalp that we can get. Nobody's expecting anything out of us. And in a way, that is the best way to go into an Ulster Championship semi-final. Nobody's expecting anything. And I think Newbridge are a team to fear because of that.
Yeah. That game, I remember, like, Kilcoo scoring 5 goals against Scotstown, just to go back to my analogy of the wrestler and everything like that with Kilcoo. That was like when Khabib landed a right hand on McGregor and nearly knocked him out. That was like, holy shit, like they can, take the brakes off and really let their attack go wild. It's just, they tend to just manage out games very well. And the thing is about Kilcoo, just to bring it back to them, is they play the game, and maybe Sean O'Leary Newbridge were taking a leaf out of that book in this game, because they weren't going, I didn't feel watching, they weren't going 150% in the last 5 minutes. They were very much managing it out. You look at the way that Kilcoo play the game, they're gearing themselves up for a marathon, not a sprint. They're trying to make sure that they keep everybody fit, keep everybody healthy, and go for the sprint when they need to. And they'll let loose when it comes to the semi-finals or the Ulster final or the All-Ireland final. Peter is saying here, shout out to Wooly managing the Portlaoise over 35s to the Tommy Griffin tournament in Dingle. Defeated his pundit Aaron Kernan's Cross McGlenn in the final. Yeah, Matthew, you have stats up for that game, don't you? But anyway, we're going to move on to the next Ulster quarter final, which was, of course, the clash of Scotstown against Naomh Conaill. Now, Matthew, you did weigh in on that game briefly, so I am going to throw that one to Liam. Look, Naomh Conaill were picked to cause some problems for Scotstown. It didn't turn out that way.
No, it really didn't. And look, I was keeping up with the game while I was at our game, just keeping up with the scores, whatever. And I was actually kind of surprised, not by Scotstown, but more by Naomh Conaill. I thought they might have put up some bit of a better challenge, especially in the first half. Like, they were 2-10 to 6 points up at halftime, which I wouldn't have said that going into this game. I wouldn't have said that would have been the scoreline at halftime. But you got to give credit to Scotstown. Look, they're a terrific side. I think last year's, I'm still kind of freaked out by last year's game against Kilcoo. Like, it doesn't feel like it was real because nobody expected the game to go that way. But yeah, look, it's a brilliant win for them. You had Darragh Murray getting 2 goals. You had strong performances from Max McGuire, Kieran Hughes, Jack McGarren. The really, really positive performance from all of them. And yeah, look, the scoreline in the end probably reflected more positively on Naomh Conaill's side, getting a couple of scores towards the end to make the scoreline look a small bit more respectable. Amazingly, Rory Beggan didn't score in this game. So, I mean, that's something at least that Naomh Conaill could take away from it. But
they held the goalkeeper scoreless.
Yeah. I know, it's impressive, isn't it? But Jesus, football's turned into a joke when we're saying the goalkeeper's held scoreless. But
they do well to keep the goalkeeper scoreless.
Yeah. But I know, look, fair play to Scotstown, though. It's a great victory for them. And yeah, look, they'll take great confidence into this, knowing that they put in a good, solid first half performance and probably let off the shackles a small bit again in the first half. Might be disappointed to only score 6 points in the second half, but when they had the game sort of wrapped up by halftime, I suppose you can afford them that freedom to sort of do that. And yeah, look, they're going to take some beating in the semi-finals. And look, it won't be easy. It absolutely won't be easy for them, but I do still expect them to head on to the Ulster final. And I think we could be in for a cracker, to be honest.
It's going to be something else. The way that this plays out is going to be sensational. And another team, Matthew, that flew really under the radar coming into the quarterfinals this weekend was Erne Gaels, belief the Fianna champions, obviously with Declan Bonner there at the helm, but 3 quick goals against King's Court. The game obviously did go to extra time, but Erne Gaels overcome them. They're into the final 4. They are going in to their clash definitely as underdogs, but they've definitely made a statement with this win.
They definitely aren't. Like, they were 3-4 to 3 points up at halftime. I was looking at this score on Ulster here on X, and I was like, this has to be a 20-point story. Like, it was unreal. The 3 goals in the first half were brilliantly taken by Jack McCann, Ulton Kelm, and Owen Johnston. And you were thinking, we could be definitely on for a shot. But look, King's Court, it was a shock that they lost. But you have to give them a lot of credit for recovering the way they did in the second half, even though they probably at stages didn't deserve to. Like, Erne Gaels, by looking at match reports anyway, and other people at the game talking, Erne Gaels definitely deserved the win. But Cian Shackleton was one player for Kings Court that definitely got them back into the game. Obviously, Meath star Jordan Morris got them well back into the game as well. To be fair to Jordan Morris, he was out a night out on Friday night with the All-Stars. So look, fair play to Jordan for actually coming out and performing well for his club. You have to give him a lot of credit there. Cormac
The manager was definitely on the phone to him. Don't go anywhere near that back.
Cormac Yarg got the goal midway through the second half for Kings Court. At Cian Shackleton again came up with a moment of brilliance. And obviously Morris got the 2-pointed free to level it, to bring it to extra time to make it 3-8 to 114. But to be fair to Erne Gaels, 2-pointers, 2 in a row from Oisin Kelm and Ryan Lyons, 2 from Anna Seniors. Definitely got them well on course to win this game. And then Shane Rooney finished it off with a free at the very end. And you look at the Kelms in particular in this game, Aegon got 1 point, Ulden Kelm got 1 in this game. Oisin Kelm got 3 points from play, including a 2-pointer in this one. Oran Johnston from corner forward got 1-2. Ryan Lyons got a 2-pointer as well, and Jack McCann a goal from centre back. And I think that is a brilliant win for Erne Gaels. Look, they'll be underdogs going into the Kilcoo game. But look, it is a brilliant story for Erne Gaels in many ways. I know they won for Manor Championship last year, but a lot of people weren't expecting them to go on a run in Ulster. But for Kings Court, a lot of people expected them to make a run at Ulster, and for Cavan football in general. But just thinking for Cavan football, I heard a lot of talk about Dermot McCabe, and not many people happy about that appointment. And they're looking at the fixture list in the Alliance League and not particularly happy with that either. I think Cavan could be in for a rough season next year, but it sounds of what's going on behind the scenes. And this Kings Court loss doesn't really read well for Cavan football either.
Yeah, no, it definitely is a worry. It's always a worrying time when the club scene isn't going strong. Peter saying mad how Sean Rafferty only started as a regular last April and secures his first All-Star. Some story, absolutely. I mean, and the clip of obviously Sean Rafferty's dad, being all emotional at his son winning an All-Star, that was pretty touching stuff, and just shows what it means to people around the country, obviously, to get an All-Star, to see a family member obviously win one. So big congratulations to Sean on his first All-Star, and Meath as well, their first All-Star since Stephen Bray won it in 2007. Incredible that it's been 18 years since they had an All-Star, but obviously that gap has been bridged. So yeah, Ulster Championship quarterfinals wrapped up. Just a quick prediction, lads. What do we think the final is going to be? I'll start. I'm going with, and I'm saying this bit of a bold prediction, but it's in line with what I've been saying all year. I think Newbridge are going to turn Scotstown over. And I think Kilcoo will beat Erne Gaels. And I think that will be a final then of Kilcoo against Newbridge. And I think Kilcoo will probably shade it from there. Any disagreements?
Kilcoo Scotstown.
And who's going to win that?
Fuck. Gee.
Go on, do it. Go on.
Do you know what? I've already thrown out so many stupid predictions. Scotstown for Ulster. Why not? Take back what I said. Scotstown replace Kilcoo. Why not? I don't care anymore. My head's gone. Scotstown for Ulster. Why not?
Fair play. We're sticking with the power angles, though. We're going to make a reel out of it. But let's move on. We're going to put the two Connacht Senior Football Championship quarterfinals together, because there were two games that had clear favourites. Moycullen were clearly favoured to beat Shamrock Gaels at Kilcoyne Park, which they did by 120 to 1-9, while Ballina did beat North London Shamrocks by 115 to 10 points at the Connacht GA Éire Dome. Matthew, I'll come to you for these two. Thoughts on these two games? Two relatively straightforward wins, and now they're both into their respective Connacht semi-finals. Moycullen against Leitrim Gaels, and of course Ballina against St. Bridget's.
If you ever thought Moycullen were very, very comfortable in their game, they were 10 points to 1-3 up at half time, and that was always a game where you looked at it and thought Moycullen looked like winning it from the very off in this one. As mentioned before, obviously, Desi Keneally with 1 goal and 10 points. That was a brilliant tally from him. Fionn McDonough got 4 points from play as well. Niall Walsh got 2 points. Johnny Maloney got a point. Paul Kelly. David Wine there as well. So, look, they had a brilliant performance, Moycullen, and business-like, I would say, getting over a decent Shamrock Gaels. So they knocked Éire Strandil out of the championship. So to put them away at ease the way they did, you have to give them a lot of credit for that. Credit to Dagnans from Shamrock Gaels. They got 1-5 between them. Shane got 1-1 at corner forward, where well, I don't know, is his brother or his cousin, family member anyway, in league, got 4 points from centre forward as well. So good performance from both of them. But ultimately, they came up with Crupper, Shamrock Gaels. In terms of the Ballina North London game, I was looking at it midway through. I was looking at it. I think it was 9 points to 1-6 level. And I was thinking, Jesus, I knew Mayo club football wasn't in the greatest state, but losing to North London Shamrocks or even drawing to them, geez, that must be a turn for the bus. It went to the point, lads, where I actually asked ChatGPT, when was the last time a London club won a Connacht Club Championship game? And the software anyway said that they never did so. So what a stat that would have been if North London Shamrocks did get over the line. I don't know, obviously ChatGPT has a lot to develop in many ways, but like that would have been a storyline in many ways. But ultimately Ballina did get over the line, and it was 10 points to 1-7 on 40 minutes, but then 2 2-pointers in a row from Frank Irwin and Mike, and 3 2-pointers actually in a row from Frank Irwin, Mike Murray and Ben Thornton turned the game completely on its head. It was 113 to 10 points going into the last 10 minutes, and from there Ballina definitely stemmed the tide a small bit. And 3 2-pointers in a row from a Mayo club. Mayo, pick these players, please. This has been the problem for Mayo in the league and the championship, and I'm blue in the face in saying it. You struggle on 2-pointed kickers. Frank Irwin is certainly one. Start him for Mayo in the league and start him at the championship as well. He's a fantastic player. Why are you letting go of him? Like Ben Thornton, I know he came on as a sub in this game, but he's still a very good player. Evan Regan had a very good display as well. He only scored 2 points in this one, but we've seen from Evan Regan down through the weeks that he's an absolutely excellent player. So if Ballina could kick 2-pointers, that's a sign for Andy Moore, and pick these players for the Alliance League next spring.
Yeah, Porrick here saying London and Ballina were level in the 48th minute. And then Ballina pushed on. There's no question about it. It definitely was getting nervy at stages for Ballina. The longer that went on, and definitely there, if you're looking at the clock and you're into the final quarter and you're still level, I've no doubt that as that game would have got on, North London would have been growing in confidence that they would have been capable again over the line. But the reality is what I've seen in the club championship is it just doesn't matter a job. You get yourself through whatever way, whatever you have to do, get yourself through, because as long as you're into the next round, it really doesn't matter how you got there. It doesn't matter if you look great. It doesn't matter if you've been shit. If you're in the next round, you're in the next round, and you live to fight another day. And how many times in the club championship have we seen teams look fantastic in a quarter final and then get knocked out in a semi-final? Porrick Pierce's last year looked unbelievable, turning over Currafin, lost to Calera Strandhill when nobody was expecting that in the Connacht final. So even though Ballina didn't look that impressive against North London Shamrocks, they're still in the final. They're still in the semi-final against St. Bridget's. Now, St. Bridget's look great, beating Pierce's, but I wouldn't be stunned if Ballina beat them, just because the club championship is so unpredictable. I favour that Bridget's will do it, but you'd be a brave man to put down a serious amount of money on it. Smart parents here saying, wouldn't be surprised if Martins beat Ballyhale in the Leinster final, coming from an Athena man. Look, there's no question about it. You just can never ever predict it ultimately, confidently. But there's no question. I think Moycullen probably have a higher ceiling. Moycullen or Bridget's from me for Connacht as we stand right now. We're going to move into the individual football finals then, which took place in Aaron catching strays here from A2. Aaron predicted Newcastle West to win Munster. That can't be topped. But Newcastle West did lose the Limerick final today. Mungret St. Paul's defeat Newcastle West by 12 points to a goal and 5. Incredible victory. And Matthew, fair play to you. You called this one.
Yeah, and to be fair, I just didn't see Newcastle West winning the Limerick Championship, not because I wanted to annoy Aaron in many ways, but I just feel like this Newcastle West team, they lost the Limerick Championship last year and Éire won it, and I feel like their run of success was coming to an abrupt end. And Liam did mention over the last few weeks, one of their star players is Mike McMahon, who's 40 years of age. If you're relying on a 40-year-old, look, you're not going to win much club championships. Look, that's just the fact of life of it. And in this game, Mungret actually never lost the lead. Or Newcastle West never led in this game. Mungret always had control. They were 5 points up, 5 points, 3 up at half time. They got a 2-pointer at the start of the second half through Brendan Giltanan, if I pronounced that correctly. That's a bit of a weird name there. But he got a 2-pointer at the start of the second half. Owen Hurley got a goal for Newcastle West, and they were a bit jittery then. You were thinking Mungret might be on the ropes a bit, but to be fair to the likes of John Hutton, who got 4 points from frees today, he definitely had a good display. He got them right back up the horse, and he drove them on to victory. The likes of Shane Barry got 1 point from foot forward. Giltanan got obviously the 2-pointer. And you look at them, even Darragh Sullivan got a point, so did James Killian. And when you look at the forwards, actually, 5 out of the 6 forwards from Mungret scored. So you have to give him a lot of credit for that. Oisin Moss got a point as well. And even for wingback Frank Corcoran got on the score sheet. So it was a brilliant performance overall from Mungret. And look, for Newcastle West, to have 3 different scores on the day, only Mike McMahon, Ian Corbett and Owen Hurley scored. That really isn't good enough to win a Limerick Championship final. And look, fair play to Mungret, brilliant achievement for them. And this has been a club on the up for years now. They won the Intermediate Championship in Limerick 2 years ago. They pushed Kilmacud from Cork all the way in that Munster Intermediate semi-final a few seasons back, or Munster final, should I say. I think Mintown Castlemaine got beaten in the semi-final by Kilmacud. So that was a Kilmacud team that pushed St. Pat's Cúilín from Armagh all the way, and St. Pat's Cúilín got to the Armagh final against Matton this year. So that just proves how good this Mungret team is. They will be a difficult test for Dingle in the semi-final in Munster, but you would expect Dingle with the talent that they have. Yes, Mark O'Connor's gone back down to Australia, that's a big loss. But you would expect still Dingle, with the quality that they have, the Gainies, etc., that they will get over the line against Mungret. But a fantastic achievement from Mungret and everybody in the club.
I didn't fucking know that Mark had gone down to Australia. That make some adaptations to my power rankings there. I'll stick with it. Tell with it. Here we go.
Just put the bars 5th.
What?
Just put the bars 5th.
Okay, we will stick down south. We had another county final on over the weekend. This one wasn't particularly close, though. The Tipperary Senior Football Championship final saw a 21-point victory for Clonmel Commercials. They beat Kilcoo Scotstown by 126 to 1 goal and 5 points. And as well, touching as well to see Shane Ryan, obviously celebrating, the recent passing of Philly Ryan. Obviously, yesterday we have Anon Dealish. We passed on our deepest regards on the last episode of the pod. We'd like to do it again. Obviously, rest in peace, Philly Ryan. But a big win for Clonmel Commercials and a meaningful win as well to get over the line in the county final. And by God, did they perform in this one now?
They did. No, it was a complete performance. And it's almost like they were playing to, there was like an extra motivation for them in this final as well, which is, look, obviously you don't want that the motivation is something like that. But, it's kind of fitting that they have won the championship in his memory after what's happened over the last couple of weeks. And I believe Shane Ryan as well was asked to come up as well to lift up the cup alongside the captain as well, which was a beautiful tribute as well. There was a lovely picture online of an opposition player come from Kilcoo Scotstown, sorry, can't butchering their name, but there was a touching tribute from a player going up to sympathize with him after the final whistle as well, which was beautiful to see. And look, it was just a complete performance. I mean, like they were it was only 3 points in it at halftime, but second half they kicked on and they were absolutely unbelievable. I mean, to be fair, 116 in one half in the second half is unbelievable shooting, to be honest with you. You had Michael Quilvin, who's one of the best footballers to ever play for Tipperary, finishing with 1-1. Rose Peters with 3 points. Keane Smith with 6 points. Sean O'Connor with 6 points. Jack Kennedy with 5 points. So they had scores from all across the field, which was really, really impressive. Reducing their opponents to 1 point in the second half as well is extremely, extremely good going as well. So, look, fair play to Clonmel. They could use this motivation now in the Munster Championship as well. You never know. Never write off a tip. Club Lockmore got to the final last year, so you just never know. But, like you mentioned there, yesterday, congratulations to Clonmel Commercials. Beautiful tribute that they've won it for Philly and for Shane as well. And, massive congratulations and big win for them at the tip football final.
Absolutely. So Peter here saying very emotive scenes after for the Ryan family. Nice tribute by Darren McCarthy on Friday night too as well at the All-Stars. Yeah, that was very, very nice. Matthew, I'll come to you next with action from the Munster Senior Football Championship. Obviously, we had the quarter-final taking place between Éire, O'Guinness and Rathgormack. We shaded this one to Rathgormack based off what they did last year against Dr. Crokes and the challenge that they put up to them. Éire Og did shade it, but it was a tight game.
I don't know what you're thinking about Rathgormack, Seamus. I backed Éire O'Guinness during the week. So,
did you?
Yeah.
Who did I back
again?
I don't remember.
I was praising Rathcormac, but I said Éire Gaels would win in the end because of their clear seniors. I don't want any reminder of VAR today, man.
I can't even fucking remember if I. Yeah, like now that you're making me doubt, I'm pretty sure.
Let the comments judge it. Let the comments judge it.
I'm pretty sure I'm
Peter, if you're here.
Yeah, it's delusional time already. It's not even an hour. Well, it is an hour now.
We're getting delusional already. Jesus.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, on this game, Éire Gaels, look, it was a brilliant performance. Well, to be fair, Rathcormac really put it up to them throughout the game. It was a 4-point game, and actually it was 1-11 to 16 points going down the home stretch with 5 minutes to go. In this one, Rathcormac were really putting up a test. But then Mark McInerney turned on the power burners in this game. He got 2 points from frees, and he got a 2-pointer for free as well. So 4 points in the last 5 minutes for him. And James Power did get a 2-pointer for Rathcormac to try and bridge the gap, in fairness, towards the very end. But Éire Gaels just pushed on and won this game, to be fair to them. And they were very good in fairness. At halftime, there were 12 points to 1-6 up. The Rathcormac goal from Stephen Curry kept them in this game, but Mark McInerney was absolutely superb. Actually, according to Scorpio, lads, Mark McInerney got 16 points today.
Yeah, that's crazy. I seen articles as well.
That's unreal.
Masterclass.
That's unreal. To be fair to him, that is absolutely superb. I know Iggy Muguero and Dean Ryan, fellow Clare seniors over the last few years, got a point each as well, but that's serious scoring. That's probably the performance of the weekend. I'll put it that way. Like, that is an absolutely brilliant display from him. When you look at it, they've actually broke down Scorpio, to be fair. 8 points, 8 1-pointers, 4 of those from frees. And he got 4 2-pointers and 3 2-pointers from frees. So, it was absolutely exceptional in so many ways. And he was in the top 10 scorers list in the All-Ireland Senior Football Championship for a while, up until maybe the semi-finals of the final as well, Mark McInerney. So, to be fair, he's had a very good year, inter-county and club. So, you have to give him a lot of credit over that. For Rathcormac, gave the Stephen Curry and 1-1. Jason Curry got 6 points as well. Conor Murray got 2 points. James Power with a 2-pointer. Billy Power also got a point this game. They deserve a lot of credit for their run in this season's competition. But Éire Gaels are now 1 game away from a Munster final, where they will play St. Finbarr's or Clonmel Commercials in 2 weeks' time. So it will be a difficult game for them. There's no doubt about it. Whoever comes out of that quarter final, but they'll be definitely up for it.
They certainly will. There's no question about that. We're going to move over then to the LGFA Provincial Finals that took place across the weekend. And Liam, to be honest, I'm going to put these two together because there isn't much to break down here. It was Kilkerrin Clonberne and Kilmacud Crokes hammering teams that we predicted that they would hammer. I mean, you read the scoreline here. In a provincial final, Kilmacud Crokes 321, St. Bridget's 9 points in Castlereagh. And then in Leinster, Kilmacud Crokes 5-13, Tinahely 1-8. The level of dominance now the Kilmacud Crokes and Kilkerrin Clonberne have over the provincial championships is unparalleled.
It's nearly unfair, to be honest with you. Look, we did all back Kilkerrin Clonberne to beat Bridget's. And I think did you say to me that did St. Bridget's have a chance? I think I just simply said no. And well, there's your answer, really, to be honest with you. It was not even close.
You're always looking for an angle to build a game, but when I'm asking you, do they have a chance? That means, to be honest, I don't think they do. I'm just like...
You're just hoping someone else maybe
does. You think they do? Because I don't.
Like, when your opposition players are scoring more than the opposition team, it's never a good thing. Do you know? Like even Noon got 1-8 and St. Bridget's got 9 points. Do you know what I mean? That was the difference. Like, that's the difference that you have in the two teams anyways. Like, their skill, their structure, and ultimately their experience as well. They're the best side in the country, probably still at this stage. And to win a provincial final by 21 points, look, I don't think there needs to be like a structural change or anything like that. I just think Clonberne are in a period of they have an unbelievable squad, an unbelievable set of players, and they probably won't be beaten. They won't be beaten in Galway anytime soon, and by this day, they won't be beaten in Connacht anytime soon. To be honest with you, it's that's 8 in a row, like provincials, like whatever about winning 8 inter-counties in a row, 8 provincials in a row is absolutely scandalous. To be honest with you, it's an unbelievable. Like, do they even celebrate anymore, or is it just like you'd often have bus parades going around your towns? Are they just simply just gone home now tonight, just gone, yeah? It's like winning a challenge match at this stage. But look, still fair play to them. It's an unbelievable win, even though getting 1-8. Lindsay Noon getting 2-1, Chloe Missile getting 5 points, Niamh De Villy, who's an unbelievable player, finishing with 3 points. So yeah, congratulations to Clonberne. And yeah, as I mentioned with Kilmacud during the week, if you're beating Dunshaughlin by 10 points, then I don't see Tinahely taking them down, despite I thought they were impressive in their semi-final win, but again, just not close really in their final either, to be honest with you. It's an unbelievable win from Kilmacud Crokes. Probably expected to be the All-Ireland final, or they don't meet in the semi. Do they meet in the semi-final? I'm not sure.
On separate side of the draw.
Oh, well, there you go.
To be,
yeah.
Isn't it?
It's going to be the final again, if we're going to be frank and honest about it. And yeah, look, it's unfortunate for Tinahely. You know, it was great to see them in the final, but when you have Niamh Cotter in your team, when you have Éire Rutledge in your team, you know, you're going to go far. So yeah, look, congratulations to the two of them, and I fully expect this to be the All-Ireland final now, to be honest.
And the key for Clonmel Crokes, just from being commentating on the Dublin LGFA final, the key for me for Clonmel Crokes is Alba Davern. At centre half forward, everything in that game went through Alba Davern, and I think in a tight game, she's very likely to be the kind of quarterback almost of the team that like everything goes through her. Or Éire Rutledge, to be fair, gets on a lot of ball as well. Kate Murray gets on a lot of ball. Aoife Kane gets on a lot of ball, but they have that kind of midfield diamond of Aoife Kane, Doireann Egan at midfield, Kate Murray at midfield, and Alba Davern at 11. And Éire Rutledge drops, but they tend to get all the ball. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see if Kilkerrin can stop that again like they have done in previous seasons, because that diamond that Kilkerrin have, you could argue, is their key as well. Nicola Ward, Louise Ward, Siobhan De Villy, Olivia Divley at 11. That's the key players right there. So it'll be very interesting to see how they match up again this year, because last year's final was superb and Kilkerrin got over the line that day. Look, lads, we did it for 2 of the codes. I'm saying that we do it for all 4 of the codes now. We'll do the power rankings for the LGFA and Camogie. There's a very good question by Peter, and we'll keep the trend going. Power rankings for the LGFA, now that the Connacht and Leinster championships have been finished. Kilkerrin obviously winning Connacht and Kilmacud winning Leinster. Matthew, I'll go to you first. Power rankings for the LGFA, top 5. What have you got?
Obviously there's 5 teams left, so it's pretty easy. Number 5, St. Orkney's Money Glass from Antrim. Number 4, I'm going to go Éire Gaels Tyrone. Number 3, Comer Rangers Waterford. Number 2, Kilcoo Scotstown Dublin. And number 1, Kilkerrin Clonberne Galway. I know it's a bit boring, but look, that's it.
Yeah. I maybe you could switch Comer Rangers, maybe to 4th, maybe, but that's.
Can I get you 5?
I would say the same as Matthew, only I'd be maybe small bit hesitant on switching Comra and Aaron, but at the same time, probably not. I would say Kilmacud Crokes 2nd and Clonberne 1st, yeah. So
you run us through the 5, please.
For fuck's sake. Kilkerrin 1st, Kilmacud 2nd. I'm gonna go. I'll go Aaron 3rd, Comer Rangers 4th, and Antrim 5th.
Okay. I'm going to go with Kilkerrin Clonberne 1st, Kilmacud Crokes 2nd, Comer Rangers 3rd, Éire Gaels 4th, and St. Orkney's 5th. I know that's exactly the same as you, Matthew, but I feel like it's very, very hard to see past Kilkerrin and Kilmacud. I think Comer Rangers have been very, very good. And then we'll see what happens with that Ulster final. And if Éire Gaels or St. Orkney's get a very impressive win, it'd be hard to see past, upgrading them maybe into 3rd place. Peter here agreeing with us, literally on the money agreeing with us. Kilkerrin, Crokes, Rangers, Éire Gaels and Orkney's. We'll move on then, and Manchu, I'm going to throw this one to you. We also had the Munster Senior Camogie Championship semi-finals over the weekend. St. Finbarr's and De La Salle. You called this one spot on, myself and Lehman, for Turles Sars. But St. Finbarr's getting past Newcastle West in their semi-final. This one was a little bit ropey. Extra time was required. St. Finbarr's winning 2-19 to Newcastle West's 3-14. While in the other side, De La Salle beat Turles Sarsfield's 2-21 to 3-16. So the Munster final will be St. Finbarr's against De La Salle. What are you expecting from this one?
It's going to be a very tight game, and as well as that, with the Newcastle West and St. Finbarr's game, more than extra time was extra time. as me and Liam have discussed in this podcast over the year as well, I'm not first of all, before discussing the game, I'm not a fan of this. I think you've seen with the game yesterday, I think it was Ellie Wolf, the player for Newcastle West, number 7, actually went down with an injury twice in that extra time. And the Corsi Rovers manager, the Southern Star, actually talked about this in Camogie locally in the senior championship in Cork, and she's saying there could be an injury for a player. That nearly happened yesterday. So you're like, it's bad for player welfare. It's unfair in many ways for the likes of Newcastle West, who put in so much effort into that game yesterday and provided a brilliant performance to be here for them. I'm just not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it. Either you go to a replay, or you have 25-metre pucks, or you go to penalties. It's as simple as that. You don't do extra time. It's just not fair on the players. Look, the Bars won't complain. They won the game. Saoirse McCartan got a point near the end. So did Ciara Golden and Orla Callahan to finish off the game in this game. And Saoirse got 1-9 in this one. Keith McCarthy got 4 points. Emer Hurley came on off the bench and got 1-1. And after Emer Hurley's goal, you were thinking they were 6 points up. The Bars are going to close it out now. This is in normal time. And then all of a sudden, Karen O'Leary strikes a goal for Newcastle West, and you're thinking, okay, this is a bit ropey now. And then Kate Ambrose has a free between the two 65s. She plants it in, all the way in, and it drops all the way into the back of the net. And I see the Clubber clip go around. Hayley Ryan was the commentator, Camogie player for Cork herself, saying, Mother of Divine. That probably has to be quoted here. It really does. It was a magnificent ending of the game. I probably don't think she could finish that sentence, to be honest, because there were kids watching. But look, it was a brilliant end to the game, and Newcastle West definitely deserved a whole lot out of it. Kate Ambrose then got a goal in extra time, not the first period of extra time, that is. And I was thinking the Bars are on the ropes here. But to be fair, the likes of Saoirse McCartan, the likes of Orla Callahan, they stepped up in this one and they got over the line in the end, in the extra time after that. But when you looked at Newcastle West had 38 shots in there, the Bars had 31. And this was a game where the Bars were at home. So you would imagine Newcastle West could feel very, very aggrieved in many ways not to get over the line. Look, the Bars, it's almost like Kilcoo, what we've been saying earlier on the show. Good teams normally find a way to win. And that's what the Bars did. They are a group of very good players. The likes of Maeve Callahan, Orla, Saoirse McCartan, Kate Wall. They have some very good players. It was just about getting over the line, and they got over the line. Look, you have to give a lot of credit to Newcastle West. Rebecca DeLee, she's a Limerick senior. She got 5 points from play. You have to give a lot of credit for players like that, in fairness. And look, they pushed the Bars all the way into Oker, and they deserve a lot of credit for that. But ultimately, the Bars will face Newcastle West De La Salle in the final in the Munster Championship. And it was a brilliant performance by De La Salle. They won this game 221 to 316. And this wasn't extra time or extra time. This was after normal time in 60 minutes. That's a high-scoring game, I have to say. Fair play to De La Salle, fair play to Turtle Sarsfields for putting up that kind of a number. Maggie Gostel got 2-4 from playing this one. Beck Carton got 10 points, 6 from frees, 4 from play. Abby Flynn got 5 points. So you have the inter-county experience there on that team from De La Salle. As well as that, a girl called Abby Milan got 2 points. Now, John Milan is in the backroom team for De La Salle Camogie team. I wonder, is that John Milan's daughter? I'm not entirely sure now. I'm stand corrected on this. I think it might be.
I could be wrong, but I think it is.
Does she love her county?
There's no doubt. No doubt.
No doubt. If John has anything to say about it.
Yeah.
I love my club.
Yeah, exactly. I think she got 2 points in this game. So you would see, if she is related, she probably is related to John. Let's be honest. She does get it off John, I'd imagine. John was a fantastic hurler, obviously, himself, and it was a brilliant display from him. A bit of a mention as well I have to give out of one of the De La Salle players, and this has been mentioned on social media over the last few weeks. A girl called Keely Corbett-Barry. You might know her for the Waterford Camogie team. She's on the Cormer Rangers LGFA team, and she's on the De La Salle Camogie team as well. So that's some achievement. You have to give a lot of... I talk with Callahan's down through the weeks, but Keely deserves a lot of credit for doing it, for doing Camogie and LGFA simultaneously towards the end of the year. And she's an absolutely brilliant player for Waterford Camogie team as well. So probably one of the stories of the year in terms of the individual standpoint as well. But it's De La Salle and St. Finbarr's at the final now, and they're on the same side of the All-Ireland draw as Ballyhale Shamrocks and Clonduff from Antrim and Down respectively. So they'll definitely fancy their chances in getting to an All-Ireland final, both of these sides.
It's just obviously they have to go through each other in the Munster final, which is going to be such a huge test. But if De La Salle can do it, it's an incredible achievement there that you're talking about with Keely Corber, because to win like provincial honours for one player with two different clubs is absolutely unbelievable. But I hope that they don't do it, because then that's another prediction fucked for me. So I really hope that St. Finbarrs get over the line in the Munster Championship. No, nothing personal, De La Salle, but I just need these predictions to come through big time. Peter saying, lads, what did you make of the Camogie Doc episode 1? Matthew, you were talking about it on the last one. It was very good, no question about it, and hopefully we see more of this in Camogie, no doubt. So is there anything left, lads? Is there anything left to discuss, or are we?
Well, I suppose there's junior, intermediate.
Take us away. You plug as well that, obviously all of the results are on the Instagram page. I'm actually big shout out to yourself for sorting that. But what out of the intermediate or junior games stood out to you?
Yeah, so across from Monaghan, Cúilín from Cavan, and Clonmel Rachleys from Tyrone all made it to the Ulster Intermediate Football Championship semi-finals. So congratulations to all them involved there. In the Leinster Intermediate Hurling Championship quarterfinals, Commercials from Dublin, Ratode from Meath, Lusma, if I pronounce that correctly, Liam, from Offaly.
Lusma, yeah.
Lusma, and Danesford from Kilkenny Sound for that. It all progressed to the semi-finals of the Leinster Intermediate Hurling Championship. In the Munster Junior Football Championship, the semi-finalists confirmed were Clonmel from Tipperary and Waterford from Cork. Watch out for them. I've watched them through the weeks. They are a very good side. They beat Shamrocks from Waterford by 25 points. And that was in Waterford. So they are a very good side, Waterford. The likes of Conor Hanlon there, they have an excellent team. Mark Linehan exactly as well. In the Leinster Junior Hurling Championship quarterfinals, Clane from Kildare, Clonett from Laois, and Davidstown, Court, the Cuddy from Wexford all progressed to the semi-finals there. In the Ulster Junior Hurling Championship semi-final, Laffey from Derry are into the final. In the Leinster Special Junior Hurling Championship semi-finals, I don't know why it's called special. That's what Leinster GA were naming it. Longford Slashers from Longford and Amsterdam from obviously the Netherlands and Europe are into the final of that competition. So obviously we love GA progressing overseas. So it's good for Amsterdam to get to the final there. In that competition, in the Connacht Intermediate LGFA Final, congratulations to Caltra Cooans from Galway, who won that competition. In the Leinster Intermediate LGFA, congratulations to St. Fecans from Louth, who beat Ballina from Kildare in the final after extra time. In the British Intermediate LGFA Final, Holloway Gaels from London won that competition, so congratulations to all involved there. Probably one of the stories of the weekend next, in the Leinster Junior LGFA Championship, Moycullen from Kilkenny. I talked about them a few weeks ago. They're now the Leinster champions. It's a fantastic achievement for Kilkenny LGFA. They have been progressing. They've been trying to progress over the last years. They beat St. Column Kills and Meath 1-5 and 1-4. Brilliant achievement for everybody involved in Moycullen there. And I've seen on Instagram, Kate Nolan, who's a Kilkenny Camogie player, actually plays for the Moycullen LGFA team. So it's actually brilliant to see LGFA and Camogie kind of intertwine in many ways. And it's brilliant that Kilkenny LGFA is on the up. It's great to see that. In the Ulster Junior Camogie Final, Burdini Oak from Antrim won that competition. And in the Junior B Camogie Final, Carrickmore from Tyrone beat Derry News from Armagh. So very good result from them. And then there was a few on Sunday as well in the intermediate and junior grades. Kilmina from Mayo have won the Connacht into the intermediate semi-finals in Connacht. They beat Caltra from Galway after extra time. In the Munster Intermediate Football Championship quarterfinals, Corfin from Clare progressed to the semi-finals. As well as that, Bullock from Cork, another side that I've watched down through the weeks, to beat Thurles Sarsfields at Tipperary, have some brilliant players. And also the manager, Ray Keane, is the Cork under-20 football manager for next year, and he's a Kerry man. He's Peter Keane's brother. So look, we'll see how that all progresses. And Bullock have some brilliant players like Paul Ring and Luke Casey and all them. So wishing them the best of luck in their Munster endeavours. In the Ulster Intermediate Football Championship quarterfinal, the last one of the weekend, actually there was no result there. We'll move on. In the Leinster Junior Hurling Championship quarterfinal, Barrow Rangers from Kilkenny progressed, beating Drumcullen of Offaly in that quarterfinal. In the Connacht Junior Football Championship quarterfinal, St. Crone's from Roscommon progressed in that competition. Burt from Donegal, that's my favourite name of a club over the weekend. I love that name. I don't know what it is. Just Burt. I love it from the Muppets, obviously. Not the Muppets, Sesame Street. Long night. In the
hour 15.
So that was the last of the junior and intermediate games over the weekend. So a lot of action there.
Absolutely, a lot of action. Peter says, lads, great review. Thanks a mil. Have a good week. see you Thursday evening. We'll see you then, Peter. Thank you for being on with us for another episode. I'm not going to wrap it up just yet, lads, because I think it would be unfair for us to somehow not talk about the history that was made on Friday evening. David Clifford obviously winning the Footballer of the Year. Have to talk about that. John McGrath winning the Hurler of the Year. Darren McCarthy, Young Hurler of the Year. And of course, Finbarr Rorty winning the Young Footballer of the Year. But let's start off with the Footballer of the Year award. David Clifford wins his third Footballer of the Year award. Unbelievable stuff. It's getting very hard to say that this guy is not the greatest of all time. I mean, if you're saying that he's not the greatest of all time, I can see the arguments for that. But what I will say is, for sure, I've never seen somebody at their peak look as good as David Clifford does playing. He's absolutely sensational. He's the only player in the 21st century now to win 3 Footballer of the Years. It's absolutely incredible stuff. And he is nowhere near finished.
No.
Yeah, like my own grandfather is 89 and he said he's never seen a better footballer in his life. Like, he's just an absolute freak of nature. And like you said, his best years, this is the worrying bit. His best years are probably still ahead of him because he did the way he played football this year was something that I'd never seen the likes of before. The rallying call from the Cavan game. And even just before that, he was probably the one Kerry footballer before that didn't deserve like any sort of criticism from anybody, to be honest with you. Like, from the very first game he played this year, I believe, was it the Tyrone game he played in the league where he got the hat-trick? He meant business from that moment on. And he's just unbelievable. Like, I think he touched the ball.
That game kept Kerry up as well. Like, in hindsight, because the league was so packed that year, that game got Kerry into the league final when it was all added up at the end.
And like, I'd say he touched the ball, 5 times, 4 or 5 times in that All-Ireland final. He finished with 7 points. Like, that's just freak of nature stuff. And the way he glided past the Tyrone defence to get his first goal in the semi-final, the 7 points, including the unbelievable one underneath the Davin stand, or near between the Davin stand and the Hogan stand against Armagh. Like, I've never seen a footballer like him. Having watched him in the flesh on a number of occasions now, especially in Croke Park, he's an absolute joy to watch. And for me, look, whether he is right now, it's obviously that's up for debate, but I do think he's going to end his career as the greatest of all time.
I think it's hard to argue with that, Matthew.
No, it isn't at all. He's an absolutely freak of nature, to be honest with you. And even look at his tallies this year, 8 goals and 62 points in the championship. Like, even I put up the statistics after the All-Ireland final as well, and the top scores would play down through the years. Even in old money, Clifford wipes those numbers. He got, I think it was 8 goals and 48 points from play, 8 goals and 36 points in old money, which is absolutely exceptional. Like, one of the top scores from play down through the years, I think it was Clough Ballacolla in a total of 212. That just wipes the total. You know, it's absolutely incredible in so many ways. He's just an absolutely incredible footballer. And honestly, Seamus, if you're not calling him one of the greatest of all time, you're either a Dublin fan, a Cork fan, or you just don't know football. It's as simple as that. Like, he's just an absolutely incredible footballer, and he's probably the greatest we've seen down through the years as well. And the way he drags his sides back into games and things like that as well. Liam mentioned the Tyrone game. I can even go as far as club. With Fossa, he is the main reason why they're sailing at intermediate the way they are up at finals, semi-finals level in Kerry. Yeah. Because of him. Like, he's just an absolute freak of nature. He's an incredible footballer. And yeah, I don't think anybody's stopping him and winning a 4th Footballer of the Year. I know even going back to the 70s and 80s, like Jack O'Shea is the most decorated one, winning 4 Texaco Footballer of the Year. That's what Fintan O'Toole was saying next. David Clifford is going to win the 4th Footballer of the Year award. I don't know when, but he's going to win it at some stage.
He could do a Messi, like April underwards. You know, he could do that and more potentially.
That's very possible, isn't it? It's just the question then is who's going to be the Ronaldo to Messi? You know, the second best of all time. I just wind up all the Ronaldo fanboys in the chat, and then we'll,
there we go.
Yeah. But there's no question about it. In my opinion, he's definitely the best I've ever seen. And I think, you know, when people talk about putting attributes together and everything like that, you know, you take the speed of this fella and the accuracy of this fella and the power of this fella. He's like a combination of that. He's the size of someone like I don't know. Like, what is he, 6'3", and he glides around the pitch as if he's like a 5'10" speedster. And then the way that he's able to just drop the shoulder and lose someone is absolutely terrifying as well. There's no
Ibrahimovic.
doubt about it. The history that he's made winning that third Footballer of the Year is absolutely incredible. Now, this has been a little bit salty perhaps, but I still don't fully think that he was nailed on Footballer of the Year in 2023. We didn't give it to him that year.
Yeah.
We went, but I'd never ever want to knock the guy. He was still amazing that year. He still was, and he definitely was still a worthy recipient. I just gave it that year. I think we awarded it on Clough to James McCarthy, I believe, that year. But there is no question about it. He would have been a worthy recipient that year, no question, and he was. But it's very hard to say that he's not the greatest right now, and that the fact that he is as well kicking into his main period of career, it's pretty terrifying to see where he comes in. The one thing that we can say, lads, we're blessed to see David Clifford right now. 3 Footballer of the Year, is the only person to do that in the 21st century. You're right, Liam. This guy could be the Lionel Messi of Gaelic football in terms of he could just clean up with the Footballer of the Years, and we could see legendary players not get one, like the Rian O'Neills and people like that. They could be like the Xavi and Iniestas, like where somehow they didn't get one over their career. But lads, we are blessed to see David Clifford. 3 Footballer of the Years, history made in the 21st century. Nobody else has done that. Unbelievable stuff. Also on Friday, the Hurler of the Year was announced. It was John McGrath. The 3 of us predicted that he would win it. But Matthew, when you're talking about clutch throughout this year, it was highlighted. I think I saw Wooly Parkinson talk about it, that just in all of the big moments of the year, that is when John McGrath stood up. You know, you're talking about the goal that he got in the Limerick game, how amazing he was in the Clare game away from home, in a game that really was a big reason why Tipperary even got out of Munster in the first place. His performance in the semi-final against Kilkenny, and then his performance in the All-Ireland final. John McGrath turned up when it was time to turn up, and that's why he's Hurler of the Year.
Exactly so. And you looked at even the top scorers from play, like he was joint top with Keane O'Sullivan with 7 goals and 16 points. And even the context of those goals that he was getting, the 2 goals against Clare about blowing Zimmer Boymet, obviously. And obviously the 2 goals that he got in the All-Ireland final against Cork, like the one he got at his last goal actually, where he flicked it beyond Patrick Collins, like that was just a brilliant piece of magic. And 2 goals as well, I think, against Limerick as well in the Munster Championship. Like, he was on fire throughout the whole season. You look at these scoring tallies throughout it, like even these full forward partners in crime, the likes of Darren McCarthy and Jason Ford were absolutely sensational as well. And it was just brilliant, absolutely outstanding in so many ways. He was just a brilliant player in John McGrath, and he certainly deserves us, considering like the effort he puts in, not just for Tipperary hurling, but for dual commitments as well, for a lot more Castlemaine football. Like, he's just a sensational hurler, sensational full forward, and like he's had well, he's definitely fulfilled his potential, but he's had that potential at club level in a lot more Castlemaine, where you're like, this guy's unplayable whenever he gets like a run on a team. But this year he was just absolutely exceptional. And I think, look, a lot of people might argue Jake Morris deserved it. RT certainly argued the case of Jake Morris, but I said from the very get-go, for the very moment the final whistle went in the All-Ireland final, John McGrath is going to get Hurler of the Year. He's just been absolutely exceptional. Crucial moments, clutch moments in crucial moments of the game, and yeah, exceptional player, and well-deserved Hurler of the Year.
Absolutely so. And Tipperary kept the Hurler of the Year nominee for the young category as well. Darren McCarthy was named Young Hurler of the Year. Liam, he had an interesting year. There's no question about it. It was highs and lows definitely for Darren McCarthy. But again, similar to John McGrath, taking a leaf out of that book, when it came to the big stage, come of the hour, come of the man, Darren McCarthy lit up the All-Ireland final. And I think he's a worthy recipient of Young Hurler of the Year.
Yeah, look, he had an unbelievable debut against Limerick in the Munster Championship. Got a goal. Like, the red cards were unfortunate, and I don't think that is his character, to be honest with you. But it shows that the game is progress, and that we are giving Young Hurler to a player who got red cards throughout the season, because we said, look, that doesn't reflect the player that he was throughout the season. A goal in the All-Ireland semi-final against Kilkenny, 1-13 in the All-Ireland final. And let's not forget as well, won an under-20 All-Ireland with Tipperary as well, won a Munster under-20 as well, was very good on the freeze against Kilkenny in that final. So, I think, look, Robert Doyle would probably still feel like maybe to a degree he could have won it. Maybe if Limerick had gone a bit further, Adam English could have been in with a good shout. But I think looking back on it overall, probably a good decision to give it to Darren McCarthy. He's been absolutely excellent all year. And yeah, he has a big, big future ahead of him, not just for Tipperary, but for Finbarr as well. Got them to the final last year. Obviously came up against Loughmore Castellani this year, and it just didn't work out for them. I think it was the quarter final stages that they were beating them by. But Loughmore are just unbelievable side at the moment. But he has a big future ahead of him. So yeah, congrats to him.
Yeah, Aidan here saying he's only a young fella. He's going to make some mistakes. Not perfect. Still deserves he still deserved Young Hurler of the Year. I do think you could tell he was just a bit of a hothead in the game where he got sent off against Cork inside the first 30 seconds. I think he was just baited in. It was like a red rag to the bull.
Had the game started?
The game hadn't started. Yeah, you're right. The game hadn't started. But I thought it was just red rag to a bull. He just got dragged into stupid shit, and he let his kind of inexperience get the better of him there. But there's no question in terms of talent and the level of performance he got to in that All-Ireland final, it's hard to deny it for him. One person who didn't have any real low points over the course of the year was Finbarr Roarty, who won Young Footballer of the Year. Matthew, this guy is a superb talent, and when you were looking at you have to remind yourself when you're watching him that this guy is still 19 years old. The guy he plays like he's a 30-year-old veteran who's been around the game for 10 years. He's so good, and he's going to be nailed on this Donegal team now for years to come.
Yeah, exactly. He was absolutely exceptional throughout the whole year. And I suppose last year Jim McGuinness came under fire in the Ulster or the McKenna Cup, actually, the pre-season competition, where he played Finbarr as an 18-year-old and he wasn't allowed to do so. You could see why Jim actually played Finbarr Roarty even at 18. He's just a really, really good player. So assured, so calm. And what's the best thing out of a cornerback is you go unnoticed throughout the whole game. And that's what Finbarr did throughout the whole season. Nobody noticed him making errors defensively. No one noticed who he was on or anything. He just went about his business quietly, and he was just a really good player. Obviously, Naomh Conall won the Donegal Championship as well. I know they were disappointed to lose to Scotstown, but he had a brilliant year club and county this season. So look, he had an absolutely brilliant season, in fairness to Finbarr. And look, he's 19 years of age. It was his first year at senior. You have to take that into context as well. He had a brilliant season, and well-deserved Young Footballer of the Year this year.
Yeah, very, very well said. So lads, that brings an end to our episode here. And it was a busy one. Lots to unpack there, from club championship action and reacting to the All-Stars as well. And of course, the Player of the Year awards. But that is the end of our episode. We thank you, everyone who joined us over the course of the episode. My thanks to Liam and Matthew for jumping on with me. Thank you especially to anybody who commented and got involved in the discussion. It really helps to make the episode as good as possible. We will be back on Thursday evening at 8 p.m. for another weekend preview show of all the club action that's coming up next weekend. And we'll be talking about the GA news that comes out as well between now and then. But until then, enjoy your week and take care.
Instinct.